three great alliances fight to claim it. Evil awakens. A long-vanished foe stirs. Those who would destroy Tamriel seek out dangers to their dark plot. And so Death's long arm reaches out. It is the 582nd year of the Second Era. The drums of war are sounding. This is where our journey begins.
ELSWEYR, land of the Khajiit. Here, life should be good, but we suffer 1,000 perils. Beneath the tyrannical rule of the usurper queen, our farms and villages overrun by hordes of undead. And the very land itself set afire by a rage of dragons. Heroes emerge, ready to defend ELSWEYR, wielding weapons, spells, and even necromancy, to claim victory at all costs. But through the smoke and flames, hope stirs.
We don't bother the Khajiit, and in turn, they don't bother us. Of course, the cats are happy to accept our gold and work out trades, and their bandits are more than ready to attack Hakoshe, should we let our guard down.
Well, aren't you off in a hurry? Heading to Surindar's cradle? I hope you brought your own water skin. Or you could buy one off me. My rates are reasonable, given the drought. Water, or rather the lack of it. Something stopped the flow from the aqueduct to Surindar's cradle. I've been hauling water for them in the meantime, but they can't keep this up forever. Don't know. Old stones, old gates and levers, who can say for sure? I overheard the adepts discussing the trouble. A young one, Vosby, seems keen to solve the issue. If you want to know more, she's the person to ask.
We must do something about the water, Silujo. If you would just...
No adept can face the wastes alone, child. This one insists you stay.
Vosby cannot understand. Only puddles remain in the Adeptorium cisterns, but still Silujo forbids this one to act. Our Adeptorium, Srendar's cradle, is parched by a drought. We rely on the Anequina aqueduct to supply our water, but something halted the flow. Now adepts and pilgrims go thirsty. We tend to the sick here. Without water, many of them may die. No, and we never will if Silujo gets his way. He yowls about the risks, but Vosby is not the saucer-eyed kitten she was when Silujo found her. This one must fix this. You're a warrior, yes? Would you escort Vosby to investigate the aqueduct? Thank you for helping, Rook. We should investigate the nearest gate of the aqueduct, just south of here. Srendar willing, we will find whatever blocks the water there. Vosby will meet you soon. This one must speak to Silujo before she leaves. No. My teachers examined the Order's histories and found no evidence of droughts in the past. But we live in curious times, yes? Dragons fly, dead walk. A broken aqueduct would not seem out of place. Vosby does not think so. Before the water reaches Srendar's cradle, it passes Rimen. And for all the city's problems, a drought is not one of them. That means the flow is blocked somewhere between the city and the Adeptorium. About Vosby? Oh, this one's life is not so exciting, but if you insist. Vosby is an initiate and servant of Srendar. A healer in training also. Silujo and the other monks raised this one here in the cradle. Most learn the craft, but not all have the passion for it that this one does. Silujo says it is Vosby's calling. This one thinks he is right. Yes, Vosby's parents had... This was in the time of the flu, you see. Many orphans came to Srendar's cradle in those days. Most of them were not as lucky as Vosby. Silujo cared for this one like a daughter. He still does, as you can see. No, this was not so long ago, Walker. You remember the groans and hacking coughs, yes? The blood? Srendar's cradle's adepts healed as many as they could, but even the strongest tinctures and cleanest bandages fell short in the face of the flu. No. My teachers examined the Order's histories and found no evidence of droughts in the past. But we live in curious times, yes? Dragons fly, dead walk. A broken aqueduct would not seem out of place. Vosby does not think so. Before the water reaches Srendar's cradle, it passes Rimen. And for all the city's problems, a drought is not one of them. That means the flow is blocked somewhere between the city and the Adeptorium. The Adeptorium itself? I know only that our ancestors built it in the days of 16 kingdoms. Vosby has no ears for ancient history. This one does know that the Adaptorium has always been a place of healing, a refuge for all, no matter how ill. We do what we can, but Vasby fears it is not enough. Many come with seared flesh and blackened lungs, from the flames and smoke, you see? Others come with broken limbs. Most of our palliatives and salves require water, so you see the urgency, yes? Oh, you found it! We should examine the gate at the top of the ramp. Open and dry, as expected. Hopefully we'll find the blockage at the second gate. Busby hopes we can find the problem soon. Otherwise we may have to investigate the Bandar span. A portion of the aqueduct that runs through Bandar's litter. A canyon to the east of the Adaptorium. Silojo forbids us to go there, ever since this one was a Jakajit. Vasby does not know. She has, at times, heard whispers from the older adepts. Something about the Nahatan flu. This one asked Silojo outright about the place years ago. He only shook his head and said it was far, far from Srenda's light. Vasby will be right behind you, but be careful, Walker. Silojo can be overprotective, but he would not resort to lies to hold us back. The dangers of the wastes are real, as you know. Truly, I hate to worry him, but Vasby must do this. Follow the line of the aqueduct east. It should lead you straight to the next gate. Vasby will meet you there. Ha! You protect me by clearing the way, Walker. This one wants to take a moment to study this gate, in case we must fix one later. Vasby will be safe. You will stop worrying, yes? You! Vasby is a quick study, yes? Let's examine this new gate. Dry. Zistful. Wait, what is this? Curious. this scrap of cloth. Vasby knows it well. It is part of a Srendar adept's habit, one of the old ones we don't wear anymore. Could an adept have been out here? Vasby does not think anyone wore it. The way it is torn, it looks like someone used it to dress a wound. Do you see the stains? This one smells blood, too. A warning, perhaps. Or a clue. Maybe. Vasby is no investigator, but finding something like this near the gate feels like a sign. We should find the person, if only to make sure they are not badly hurt, yes? We could start by searching around the columns that hold the aqueduct up. Someone gravely injured may have rested in the structure's shadow. No time to waste, Walker. Let's go. Certain. After the worst of the Nahatan flu had passed, Siludjo and the others burned every scrap of cloth touched by the illness. Quilts, linens, and yes, even their habits. Nothing remained of them, aside from paintings in the cloisters. It appears that way, yes. Come, whoever this belonged to may need our help. Another shred of a habit? The blood seems more spotty. From a sword, maybe. Let's keep looking. The blood trail goes cold, yes? But what is that? A cameo? The face looks... This was not dropped by accident, Walker. There must be more to find. This is a nursery rhyme, isn't it? Like the one Vasby read every night as a kitten. Srendar's Mercy. Please hurry, Walker! Swaddlecloth? Vasby recognizes that pattern. Come, let's keep looking, come! And we find a death coin lost, of course. Something that gleams to take to the sands behind the stars. We should talk. The bloody bandages, the cameo, and swaddlecloth. All these trinkets and mementos lead to a forbidden place. Bandar's litter. Busby has not been totally honest with you, Walker. This one has a very personal stake in this business. The drought. It's because of me. That is why Vasby insisted on being the one to investigate. Every year, on this one's birthday, someone leaves a gift outside the cloisters. Gifts like the nursery rhyme, coin, and cameo we found, you see? Days after the aqueduct ran dry, the gift giver left a jug of cold, fresh water outside this one's door. It was a message, you see. For Vasby. Now we find these dressings and keepsakes, all leading to Bandar's litter. Our answers are there. Old ghosts haunt this place. Angry spirits that moan and howl curses in the night. Silujo always insisted we stay away. I hate to disobey him, but we have no choice. The last sluice gate and the person we pursue are both inside. Are you prepared? Wait! Vasby saw someone! Why do they run? We do not mean them any harm. There they go. Is that the same one as before? Let's split up. We can corner him.
Who are you? Where is Vasby, beloved child? Finally, you have come home at last.
Beloved, what? I don't... We only want to restore the water.
Water? No, no, no. You come for answers, child. Answers from ashes. Take her to our camp at the Bandar Gate. Kill the other and cleanse him in flame. The scouring fire will claim Sarindar's cradle soon enough.
Quickly! Over here! Silujo saw everything. We must save Vasby. Quickly, please! I may not be Vasby's father, but I feel a father's love for her. What parent would let their child wander the Kaj with a stranger? Silujo followed at a distance, but could not stop Vasby in time. The stricken cats took her deeper into the canyon. The flu. Time heals some wounds and causes others to fester. Sometimes even the greatest healer cannot see all ends. Forgive me. Silujo is an old cat. He rambles. We must go to the Bandar Gate to halt the flames and save my Vasby. There is a cavern deep within the litter. If memory serves, it ascends to the Bandar Gate. We will find the aqueduct blockage and Vasby there. Come, we must hurry. Silujo will try to make these sick, scarred cats see reason. To cure a sickness, a healer must know the ailment's cause. Old hatreds are not so different. We lose time discussing this. Have faith that all will proceed as Srendar wishes. These sick, scarred, you see, we call them the stricken. After the Nahaten flu ravaged their bodies, the people of ELSWEYR cast them out. They came to Srendar's cradle once for healing, but the king's vizier would have put our adeptorium to the torch if he knew we harbored the sick. You should know the reason they hate us. It is my fault. They wish to burn our home because I cast them into Bandar's litter to die. Wait, Silujo must speak to you. Before we go further, we must speak. The Bandar Gate lies beyond that door. The Stricken's leader as well, Vasby's true father. His love and sorrow has turned to hatred for me. Silujo has no illusions. Death waits for this one through this passage, for the actions of his past. Silujo does not fear this death if it will save Vasby. Before it happens, though, this one must ask. You now know the story of Srendar's cradle, of the sick left to die. When this one is gone, Vasby will have questions. What will you tell her? Silujo thanks you, Walker. Choosing who lives and who dies weighs on the soul, but as a healer and a leader, I must make hard decisions. If Silujo had to do it all over again, he would make the same choice. Now come, Vasby waits. Vasby, you are unharmed, yes?
No. My daughter is no longer yours to corrupt, adept.
No! Please, Walker. If there is any way to spare Hulz or have mercy. Vasby knows he is mad, but to lose two fathers at once. Srendar, help me. This one is so lost. Moons! Why did Silojo come here? He must have known the stricken would kill him. This one only needed saving because she disobeyed Silojo. He came here because of Vasby. He dies. This one knows. Hulza told me about how he and his wife, my mother, came to the cradle with a tiny Vasby in their arms. He described the long march to Bandar's litter and the cold, moonless nights that followed. More suffering on my account. How could it not be Vasby's fault? Had Hulza's wife not carried Vasby in her womb, they never would have come to Slenda's cradle. Had Vasby not sought to restore the water, Silojo would live. Please, just find Hulzar. Vasby must work.
Think you can keep me from my vengeance? Come, Dean. Take me!
You return. Good. Vasby already loses too much today. Silojo did not... Vasby could not... He is gone. His soul wanders the sands behind the stars now. The other adepts mourn for him as Vasby does. But they do not know the truth of his death, or the cost of the water you restored. But you know. Vasby knows. And it may be too much for her to bear. Vasby loved this place. She idolized Silojo and the other healers. She prayed to Srendar for the strength and wisdom to serve as well as those who came before. But Srendar's cradle is a lie. My dream is a lie. What is Vasby to do now? The people of ELSWEYR think that the adepts of the cradle worked miracles to stave off the flu. Now I see that they only hid the sick in the wilderness to let them die. How can this one just ignore that? How can I dedicate my life to such a place? Yes, you are right. Silojo was a good Khajiit. But I cannot live within these walls, knowing that we denied their security to people in desperate need. Thank you, Walker. We only just met, but you are the closest thing to family that I have left. Vasby should start preparing for her trip and saying her farewells. I will always have time for you, though. Vasby does not know. She has spent her whole life at Srendar's cradle. She knows no others besides the ones within these walls. But she did learn something. Huza, Pirina. If these were her true parents, perhaps she has family somewhere. Vasby cannot say. She knows two names do not offer much in the way of clues, but she will try Remen. Perhaps someone there can help her. But first she will need to pack, to tell the adepts. Thank you, friend. May the moons watch over you.